Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited for us to kind of link up and do this together. This is amazing. So let's just go ahead and get started. All right. So tonight we're talking about infidelity in relationships and how couples can kind of rekindle their marriage and recover after the fact. But this is a blab, and yes, we're licensed and we're counselors and psychologists, but I want to kind of go over some ground rules first, right? Is that okay?
That's all right. Give them the ground rules.
Yes, yes. Okay. So first things first, this blab is for informational purposes only. Although we are licensed and definitely qualified to do what we do, this is not therapy, and it should not be confused with or used instead of your own therapy. You are more than welcome. We'll type our information in the comment section, and you are more than welcome to sign up on one of our websites and come to one of our offices if you need further help or assistance in your marriage, in your relationship. Okay? All right. Please also feel free to leave us any comments in the message box. Also, share, give us props, and share this with your friends, family, loved ones. And let everybody know that we're on. Show us some love. Share the wealth. Invite folks to the page.
Thanks for the love.
Yeah. That's my boo showing you love.
Oh,
All right. So let's jump right in.
Clap it up for Mr. Sapp.
Yes. All right. So Dr. Lewis, let's get started.
Okay.
So what would you say is one of the major barriers kind of keeping couples from bouncing back?
Okay, so when couples come to my office, when they call in for counseling, one of the number one questions that I have that people call in for is how do we rebuild trust? The affair has happened. How do I trust him again? How do I trust her again? Sometimes it's a feeling of that the relationship won't recover. Sometimes couples have that feeling of, when will we ever get past this? Will this always be a barrier in the relationship where the person is feeling like my spouse won't trust me again? And so that's the number one question that I get asked, the number one barrier that I see when working with couples. That's where we start in terms of treatment.
Okay, so you start with rebuilding trust.
Yeah.
Okay, you start with rebuilding trust. I start with, when was the last time y'all had sex? With each other. See?
With each other. With each other. Okay.
Yes. So would you say, in order to be able to bounce back and move forward, I don't like the word moving on, but moving forward, would you say that the affair has to completely end first?
Yes, that is very important, because what's happened is there's been some element of deception. For an affair to take place, it requires some level of deception, some level of omission, or just straight out lying. And so as a result, now the person is starting the process to rebuilding trust. They need to have that honesty rebuilt back in the relationship. And so part of that is ending the affair, whether the affair was ongoing, long term, short term. I see all sorts of different types of affair, but yeah, very good. Ending the affair, very key.
Okay. What about the sometimes I see people who want all the gory details. I want to know who, I want to know when, I want to know where, I want to know why, I want to know how long, I want to know what positions, I want to know if you use the condom or not. I want to know where the other person, where they ejaculated. I want to know everything, and I filtered that to make it PG-13 for this blab.
Yeah. Okay. So there's certain that now that's common. That is common, that the person who is cheated on wants to know everything. What did she look like? What was her hair color? What was did he look like me? Was his the same size as I was? Like all those questions oftentimes comes up. And that's part of the reason is the person is trying to make sense of what has happened to them. And so I will say, yeah, that makes sense. That's common, that's normal. But at the same time, we know that some levels of detail can in fact be re-traumatizing. So now you know that it happened at your favorite restaurant. And so now every time you're driving by this restaurant, what I see is that people get re-traumatized. And so especially when you start to get into sexual comparison details, we don't need to go into that, right? And so I help couples have a meaningful conversation about the affair by looking at what was happening for them, what was some of their internal dialogue at the time of the affair.
Right. Because in reality, oftentimes it's not even about the other person. It has nothing to do with what you did or didn't do right, or what you should have did or could have did. It's about some other deep-rooted stuff that the person who cheated has experienced or is going through, or some fulfillment issues that they're having. Which, I mean, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody at this point, but that's kind of what I found, that even if you got all the details, you're still not satisfied.
Yeah.
So we can skip the middleman.
Yep.
And let's bring the sex back.
Let's get back to the intimacy. And I mean, the reality is I see the affair in a number of cases as really the tip of the iceberg. Now, when couples come in, that's where, especially the partner that was cheated on, that's where they want to focus on. But oftentimes, the affair is just the tip of the iceberg. So if we just focus on the affair and don't look at some of these other areas, look at that, what has that person internally, what have they been dealing with? Maybe they have some issues around self-esteem, self-confidence. Also, what you touched on, and I think is very important, is intimacy. Sometimes I see that couples are in a child-centered marriage where all they talk about is the kids. They don't have any room in their marriage anymore for their sex lives, their intimacy. It doesn't exist. And so we got to deal with that too.
Absolutely. And we often sometimes miss that point because we're so wrapped up in our adult lives and so wrapped up in all that's happened outside of our marriage, and we put all these outside forces first, that we forgot that the most important relationship that we have to work on is our marital relationship, or our spousal relationship, or our significant other or intimate partnership. Whatever term you're using, you got to work on that first. You got to always, because at the end of the day, when all those external sources are gone, all you have left is you and your boo. And if y'all didn't get it together and y'all don't know each other, then now we have room for so many other things to kind of creep in.
Yeah, and that can be the place that couples get at where they don't know each other anymore. Sure, in the beginning, they knew what their spouse's interests are. They knew who their spouse's best friend was. But do they know now? Are they checking in with one another now? Sometimes they get into a place where it's just so much distance that they've lost that connection.
Right. Well, let me explain. I'm my husband's best friend. Yeah. I know all the friends. We ain't playing those kinds of games today. But let me check in with our viewers, because we got about 41 folks on right now.
Folks, yeah.
I know, amazing. Do you guys have any questions for myself or Dr. Lewis? Any questions? Type them in the chat box.
So you got 2 licensed therapists where you can ask whatever you want to.
I know it. For free.
We won't do that. We are here for free to give you value, right? What burning questions you have, shoot them out there.
Anybody want to comment in or weigh in on anything that was said? Do you agree, disagree, like, don't like? Tell us what's up. All right, so we've talked about some good stuff tonight. I'm excited about it. So let me ask one more question. What do you think is one thing that couples can do to rekindle their marriage after their partner's cheated?
One of the things that they could do is to really spend some quality time together. You know, John Gottman, he's a
Mm,
relationship researcher out in Seattle, and he interviewed
mhm.
thousands and thousands of couples, followed them into longitudinal studies, and he identified this thing that he calls the 5 magical hours. Everybody Google that. 5 magical hours. We're not talking about all day long, but just 5 hours out of your day, really concentrating on spending time together, getting back to that place where you are reconnecting again. Because sometimes I see that the couples again get to that place of distance, get to that place of disconnection. There's no more intimacy, or get just focused on other things. You know, we have different roles that we play in life: mother, father, teacher, coach, all these different roles, employer, like we're working. And so sometimes we get so caught up into these roles that we have that we start neglecting the space between each other, the
Right.
couplehood. And so I'd encourage you, look up 5 magical hours and spend that quality time in the relationship. Some of the key questions that you want to have meaning making dialogue. So I'm encouraging you
Mm,
again, avoid all of that, those detail oriented questions, and really have some meaning making dialogue, because there might have been some things that was happening prior to the affair that might have made the relationship vulnerable. So, you know, explore some of that.
oh, amazing. Now, this is some good stuff that you're giving away for free. This is some good stuff. Way too many good wisdom nuggets. All right. So we don't have a lot of time to really go into the detail about it, but we do have something coming up. So, Dr. Lewis, tell them about what we have coming up. I'm too excited to even talk about it. I'm too excited.
Yay! So we have a webinar coming up, Life After Infidelity. So maybe you maybe you or your partner, your spouse have dealt with an affair, and maybe you try to have these conversations on your own, and you start to notice that every time you try to talk with each other about it, you hit a fight or argument, or you keep having the same
Mm-hmm.
conversation. It's not going anywhere. Well, this is for you. We're
Mm-hmm.
having this webinar to really break it down for you. What are some of those key conversations? We gave you some nuggets here, but we're going to go much deeper in this webinar. So you want to register today, you can register on my site at giftedcounseling.com. Also, Tanisha, give them your site.
Oh my gosh. So you can register on my website as well. It's www.tanishasap.com. That's TANISHASAPP.com. I'm so excited. It's going to be an hour packed with tons of goodies. So if you liked what you heard today, imagine what you're going to get on that webinar. And the best part, tell them the best part about it. Tell them the best part.
It's free.
It's free. It's free. Oh my gosh, it's free. It's
It's
free.
free.
January
A
19th.
dime. It is free.
Yes, it's free. January 19th at 7 o'clock p.m. If you go to our website, you will get the links. We'll both have links in our bios, and you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're everywhere. And
Yeah,
yeah,
really.
we're everywhere. Yeah, absolutely.
Instagram, Facebook. My Facebook is Dr. Laura Lewis. I post different relationship video clips. So find us. Find us on social media. We'd love to connect.
Google me.
Google. You know you bad when all someone has to do is just put your name in Google and you come up. She's bad,
Yeah,
y'all.
I'm just trying to say something.
Yeah.
All right. So, Dr. Lewis, is there anything else you want to add?
I'm just so excited to be with y'all today. I can't tell you the amount of excitement that I've had just leading up to this night. And so I hope you
Mm,
definitely find us on social media, register for the webinar. It's gonna be a fun packed night. And so
yes.
definitely reach out.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that's all that we have for now. If you have any questions before we sign off, please type them into the chat box. Let us know. What are you thinking? What are you wanting to know? You have two licensed counselors here who are giving you some stuff for free. Licensed professionals, I should say. Dr. Lewis is, a psychologist. So, I mean, you got a good 30 minutes of free stuff that you didn't have to pay anybody for.
Nothing.
So,
Yeah.
any questions? Any questions? Anything else you wanted to say, Dr. Lewis, about the webinar coming up?
No. I think that's about it. I think that's
All
it.
right, so we're good. All right, you guys. Well, thank you all for coming, and I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys tonight. And I want to thank Dr. Lewis for coming and doing this with me.
This
This was
was my
so fun.
lab, y'all. This is my first lab, and this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. I might do this again.
Yes, you should. You should. You got a lot of good wisdom nuggets to give out. So I
As
think you
do
should.
you, as do you. I follow you on social media. You drop some golden nuggets there as well, Miss Sapp.
I'm trying to be like you. But yes, so two fabulous ladies. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for coming and good night. See you all next time.
Yes. Good night.